Have you ever stopped for a second and wondered whether you're actually doing okay financially, or if you're quietly falling behind without even realizing it? Maybe you've looked at your bank account late at night and thought, am I supposed to have more saved by now? Or maybe you've watched friends buying new cars, taking expensive vacations, upgrading houses, and you couldn't help but wonder how everyone suddenly seems to have money figured out. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people are guessing. Some people look rich but are drowning in debt. Others look completely average but quietly have six figures invested. And the weird part? Almost nobody talks honestly about money. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the financial reality of the average person. And trust me, some of these numbers are way more shocking than people realize. Some might actually make you feel better about where you stand. Others might feel like a serious wake-up call. But by the end of this video, you'll have a much clearer picture of what normal actually looks like financially, and whether normal is even something you should aim for in the first place. Because social media has completely messed up how we think about money. You see someone driving a luxury SUV and assume they're rich. You see someone posting vacation photos every month and assume they've figured life out. But what you don't see are the monthly payments, the credit card balances, the financial stress hiding behind the highlight reel. And that's exactly why understanding these money statistics matters. Not so you can compare yourself to other people, but so you can stop guessing. Think about it this way. If you were trying to improve your health, wouldn't you want to know what the average person actually eats? Or how much they exercise? Money works the exact same way. Because once you understand what average looks like, you can finally decide whether you're headed in the right direction, or whether something needs to change. So let's start with one of the biggest financial questions people secretly ask themselves. How much money does the average person actually make? And honestly, the answer surprises a lot of people. According to recent financial data, the average person earns far less than most people imagine. And honestly, this is where expectations start colliding with reality. Because when people hear a salary number, it sounds decent at first. But once taxes, bills, rent, groceries, insurance, and everyday life start taking their cut, things suddenly look very different. Think about your own paycheck for a second. How much actually stays in your account after everything is paid? For a lot of people, the answer is, not much. And that's exactly why so many people feel like they're working harder than ever while somehow still struggling to get ahead. But income is only one piece of the puzzle. Because what really matters isn't just how much people make. It's what happens to that money after they earn it. And this is where things start getting a little concerning. Let's talk about savings. Most people assume the average person has a decent emergency fund sitting somewhere. Maybe enough money saved to survive a few months if life suddenly went sideways. But the reality is much messier. A huge number of people are living paycheck to paycheck. Meaning if their income stopped tomorrow, things could become stressful very quickly. And honestly, that's scary. Because emergencies don't schedule appointments. Cars break down. Unexpected bills show up. Jobs disappear. Life happens. So here's a simple question. If you lost your income tomorrow, how many months could you realistically survive? 1 month? 3? 6? For a lot of people, that answer is uncomfortable. And while savings problems are concerning, retirement statistics are where things become genuinely eye-opening. Most people imagine retirement as freedom. Sleeping in. Traveling. Finally enjoying life after decades of work. But here's the uncomfortable reality. A surprising number of people are reaching retirement with far less money than they expected. Imagine working for 30 or 40 years, only to still feel anxious about money later in life. That sounds exhausting. And the strange part is, most people don't realize they're behind until it's much harder to catch up. Which brings us to another statistic that quietly destroys financial progress for millions of people. Debt. Especially credit card debt. Because this is where money starts disappearing without people even noticing. You buy something small. Then another thing. Then another. And suddenly you're paying interest every month on things you barely even remember buying. And here's the worst part. Debt steals from your future. Because money that could be building savings or investments ends up going to interest payments instead. And this next statistic explains why so many people feel financially stuck even when they're earning decent money. Here's something most people don't realize. A lot of financial stress doesn't come from earning too little. It comes from spending without realizing where the money is actually going. Ever had one of those moments where you check your bank account and think, wait, where did all my money go? You're definitely not alone. Because for the average person, the biggest expenses are usually the same: housing, transportation, food, and the small everyday spending that feels harmless in the moment but quietly adds up over time. One subscription here, eating out there, impulse purchases online, a slightly more expensive car payment. And suddenly, money starts disappearing faster than expected. This is something people rarely talk about. Lifestyle inflation. The moment income goes up, spending quietly follows. You make more money, so you upgrade the apartment, then the car, then the vacations. Then the little luxuries start feeling normal. And before you know it, you're earning more than ever but somehow still feel broke. Now let's talk about something that reveals the full financial picture. Net worth. This is probably the single best way to understand someone's financial health. Because income alone doesn't tell the whole story. Someone earning a huge salary but drowning in debt may actually be worse off than someone earning less but consistently saving and investing. And this is where a lot of people have a wake-up moment. Because financial success usually looks a lot more boring than people expect. It's not flashy. It's not constant luxury. Most of the time, it looks like consistency. Saving regularly. Avoiding bad debt. Living slightly below your means. Making smart decisions over and over again. And honestly, that's both the frustrating part and the encouraging part. Because there usually isn't some secret formula. Most people don't struggle financially because they're lazy or unintelligent. They struggle because nobody ever taught them how money actually works. They were told, work hard and everything will somehow work itself out. But effort without a plan only gets people so far. Here's the good news though. Average doesn't have to become your future. Just because most people struggle with saving, doesn't mean you have to. Just because many people retire stressed, doesn't mean that's your story. And just because the average person makes financial mistakes, doesn't mean you're stuck repeating them. Because once you understand what average looks like, something powerful happens. You stop guessing. You start paying attention. And slowly, you start making better decisions. Small decisions. Repeated consistently. And over time, those small decisions can completely change your financial future. The choice is yours.